listeners and readers of AwardsWatch.com. This is the AwardsWatch Podcast. I am your host, the executive editor, Ryan McQuade, and I am joined today by Erik Anderson.
Hello, hello.
And I am joined by Dan Bayer.
Good morning. Happy Memorial Day, everybody.
Happy Memorial Day to all. This will be releasing on Memorial Day, in the morning of Memorial Day, so everybody will hopefully have the day off and get to listen to this wonderful episode. We don't have the day off. We're just going to release probably some articles that Erik has, right? You have like your best picture and your best director.
Yes, I was saving picture and director for after the results of the Cannes Awards, which we will talk about shortly because they've had such an impact in the last few years.
Yeah. And so we're going to talk about the Cannes winners.
Because I'm lazy.
Yeah. He's, well, I mean, if you read or followed the site for a long time, you know that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Cannes winners. We're going to have some listener questions. We're going to talk about Top Gun Maverick, get in the danger zone a little bit. And then we'll play a quick game, and then we'll get you guys out of here. And you guys can go enjoy all your festivities with your family, or just stay at home and binge watch the 700 episodes of Stranger Things that dropped this past weekend, or whatever the hell you want to do. But yeah, Cannes winners announced yesterday. Shout out to all of our writers at Cannes who did a fantastic job getting us those reviews out. You can see all of those reviews up on the website at awardswatch.com, up in the reviews tab. Erik, these were big winners. I saw you live tweeting yesterday about them.
Yes, as I do like to do when I get to watch the ceremony live, either in person or from across the pond. And it was pretty fun. I do like the Cannes ceremony because it's the fanciest looking ceremony, but it is the slimmest in terms of let's just get to award, and we are done.
It's also
very short. It's very efficient, but it's full of just the right pomp and circumstance and gowns that a award show should offer.
Yeah, it's also the whitest ceremony. Yeah, but that's
not a white ceremony.
It's black tie. It's black tie. That's right.
Well, yeah. No white jackets allowed.
No white jackets allowed.
True.
The winner of this year's Palme d'Or was Triangle of Sadness, directed by Ruben Östlund, who he recently won back in 2017 for The Square. This is his second in about 6 years or so.
Cue all the geometry memes. Next one will be
Circle of
something.
Sadness.
Yes.
Yeah. Parallelogram of knowledge or something. Picked up by Neon. So they continue their dominance. This is 3 years in a row. Well, 3 years of the ceremony. We didn't have one in 2020, but they are really, really dominating this. And I guess at this point we were all figuring out, well, Broker was picked up by Neon, so maybe that's the one, but then Triangle of Sadness came in and swept in. So Erik, your thoughts on that win, and then the ties. We had 2 ties, which I hate ties.
Which happened last year too, right?
Happened last year.
There's a lot more.
They gotta just make up their mind and stop trying to award everybody. This isn't a participation trophy. They're going to be winners and losers, okay? But Erik, what do you think of these winners?
Obviously I have not seen anything yet, so it is all sight unseen. So looking at it from that perspective, but also looking at the reviews and talking to my writers that saw the films, there isn't a bad win in the bunch based on their reviews. I know a lot of people kind of rolled their eyes at Östlund's second win. Have so many other people that could have won or were potentially predicted to win. And I think there's only 8 people that have won more than one Palme, and he is now one of them. But just like with the Oscars, and even much, much more so here, it's a different jury and president every year. So it's not like the same people making the same decision. So complaining that somebody has a second palm when someone has none, I don't find quite as valid as maybe an organization that is the same voters, that votes the same people year in and year out. These are all completely different people. And also too, the rules of this festival is you cannot win a top award and then another. You used to be able to win multiple, and then that happened too many times. I think Barton Fink was the one that broke that that streak, or
Those
whatever you wanna call it.
goddamn Coen brothers.
Yeah. So, they do have to make those democratic decisions. It's like, we want to give as many awards as possible, which clearly they did with all the ties. So then they have to really sit there in their room and go, well, let's give this person this, but this. And that includes, the acting prizes too. So if, Song Kang-ho winning for Broker meant that it could not win anything else. So that was, I would love to be in the room.
I'd love
when
to see
that's happening.
Are you kidding me? We'd all love to be like a live Zoom or like right there, just sitting there with our popcorn, just be like, who's yelling at who? Like who's fighting for what in what spot? Like that would be it's like being in the jury room of a trial.
Yes. And I do wonder sometimes if they like go award by award, or if they go like, well, what are all our favorite films this festival, and then figure out how to distribute amongst those.
See how the yarn on the murder board.
Exactly. I would kill to be a fly on the wall in any con jury room.
Yeah, because the ties were for the Grand Prix was Close and Stars at Noon, which was Claire Denis' film, which was I believe got a really good review on the site, but for most people the film was very divisive, and not a lot of people liked the last two Claire Denis films from this year. But Dan, I saw on Twitter that you were talking about like maybe that was because of the jury president wanting to give his director because Vincent London is in a Claire Denis film that has yet to be released.
Other film this year, Fire or Both Sides of the Blade. I've seen it called both things. It makes it very confusing now.
Heard mixed things about that too.
I saw that one and I did not care for it.
Sounds like one to watch, folks.
But honestly, like the Claire Denis thing is so weird because this is only her second film that has been at Cannes. And so the fact that, in competition. So the fact that she has not been in competition for most of her best works is just shocking enough as it is. Mm-hmm. But then for the one of hers that actually wins something to be one of the, I would say the less critically hailed films of both her career and this particular Cannes Film Festival is, well, that's Cannes.
I was just gonna say that is so classic. Cannes Film Festival anyway, so it's kind of funny.
That was kind of interesting. And then of course the prix de jury, the jury prize that went to The Eight Mountains and EO, which everyone seemed to really love EO. Even so, Kyle Buchanan tweeted out that donkey should have been best actor
for the palm dog.
They should have just done a special palm donkey. I don't know
why. I don't know.
No reason why they couldn't have done.
Well, don't they do they do like a dog award, right? Like, or they do it.
The palm dog.
The palm dog. Just give it to the donkey this year. There's not a dog in probably any of these.
I think the palm dog went to the dog from Riley Keough's movie.
Sure.
Her Camera Door winning.
Camera Door winning Riley Keough.
Good for her.
The big year for the family of Elvis Presley.
That was their way to also award that. Yeah. Sorry, all you Elvis fans, it was not in competition, so it was out of competition. But 12-minute standing ovation. You take that to the bank.
Yep. Yeah. And I do love that Joey Skolmowski, the director of EO, in his acceptance speech, just listed all the talkies that played the part and thanked them. That was a beautiful thing.
We have him here on stage, and they just walk out. Park Chan-wook won for Best Director for Decision to Leave, which I don't know about y'all, made me super fucking pumped. I was just like, yes. And because I love that man. I cannot wait to see this movie. I still have no idea what this movie is about.
Justice for the Handmaiden.
Yes, and because all those reviews came out, and I said, hell no, I'm gonna like avoid it like the plague.
I did the same thing, Ryan. I saw.
Well, then let me spoil it for you right here.
No.
Oh, okay.
Don't you dare!
If you did, I'd kill you.
No, the reviews are not that spoilery. They just give an overview of the style.
I don't want to know
that it is, and so I'm super into what that style is.
I don't need to know, Eric. I love Park Chan-wook. I love him.
Okay.
Why do I need to know about the style and look? They have my money. They have my money. They have double my money. I'll see this movie twice.
I don't know. I'm always hesitant to people that have blind faith like that. You have to be able to have some type of.
You don't have any blind faith in directors that you love?
Maybe I do.
Yeah.
I know what you're trying to do. You will not pin me down there. Absolutely not. Let's get back.
I never have blind faith until I see footage.
I did kind of giggle. I kind of giggled at the 75th anniversary prize going to the Dardennes because it's like,
what prize can we?
What prize haven't they won?
I saw that and went, oh, of course. Anyway, move on.
Again, the most con thing they could have done.
Eric mentioned Song Kang-ho won for Broker, which I love that win. Yeah, it helps you out in your predictions.
I feel pretty good about that.
We're pretty good now, don't you?
That May prediction now, because
patting yourself on the back way too much already.
We're doing that, but it was also going to be dependent on its performance at the festival. And Neon has so many films again this year.
They do,
and what they're going to do with it, and everything else that they have.
But you know what? Here's the thing about Neon is they have a lot of movies, and I trust them to get at least something there or a couple of things there than someone like A24 who has like 700 movies, it seems like, and
can't get one.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to fumble the ball.
Well, if you look at the major players of Cannes this year, it's almost all Neon and A24. And
you would have thought like, hey,
already has one major contender, so it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be nerve-wracking to watch where both of those studios go through the rest of festival season. I know we're going to see a lot of those come up.
It's interesting. Most of those are A24 and Neon, except for poor Vicky Creeps, who got IFC to distribute her movie.
At least we'll see the film.
At least we'll see the film. At least we know it will be seen. And it will exist.
Maybe she should get people to change the pronunciation of her last name so it just didn't sound so terrible.
Oh, just Vicky Crepes?
Like
is that
crepe.
What you want? Yeah.
Crepe. Yeah.
Like that just sounds nicer.
It just sounds very nice.
Yeah.
Zaramir Abrahami won for Holy Spider. Heard a lot of good things about that one at the festival, especially her performance. Boy from Heaven won screenplay, so we'll see about that and when it premieres and stuff. There were a couple. Mia Hansen Love won for One Fine Morning in the director fortnight. She won the Cannes label for Best European Film. So those were some of the other ones, and then of course there were other prizes that were handed out.
Well, the one that we haven't talked about was something that was rumored very much in the last couple of days as a potential Palme winner, and that's Lucas Daunt's Close.
Yes. Yeah.
who
And that
is
did, yeah, and that won the
potentially
Grand Prix.
becoming the new Xavier Dolan of the festival. If he
Yes.
had won, he would have been the youngest winner ever. He's only 30. And he clearly got pretty close.
Heard he had a very emotional speech.
Grand Prix.
Right?
What's that?
I heard his speech was very emotional.
Oh my
Right?
God, the audience was absolutely sobbing. And I mean, it was a lot of, his core people there, but it was really something. But
Yeah.
as Kyle also pointed out, it was a tie. So at the time, there was only one award, and Claire Denis finished her speech first and just took it and walked right across the stage with it. Funniest thing ever.
Queen shit. That is
You're like watching Lucas Don't and his child actor there with Javier Bardem. He gets the scroll and they're like, "Where's the award?" And you just see Claire Denis walking in front of the camera across the stage with just paying no mind. It was so goddamn funny.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Those Cannes winners are up on the site. Eric wrote up the piece for it, and we have reviews for a lot of those films that won. And it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how they play out. If these winners can translate into the Oscar season. I have a feeling that maybe we will answer maybe those questions with our listener questions. So who knows? And that's, of course, segueing to our listener questions. And the first question from Jacob goes, will these wins take Park Chan-wook and Song Kang-ho into the Oscar season? Basically, will they replicate these into Oscar nominations and possibly even wins? I don't know about wins, but I know that, they're clearly the two, probably, when we were talking about international director making it into the five. It's definitely, you have to consider Park Chan-wook right now, because usually this is what happens, or it has been happening, is something from this festival carries on over into that season. It was like no one saw even Hamaguchi last year. That was kind of insane. But we, like, Vinterberg, another round would have been, I believe, at that Cannes lineup, and there are others. But what do you guys think?
It's interesting. I would love for Song Kang-ho to get any sort of momentum, since he was so rudely denied for Parasite.
Yes. Yeah.
But the acting prizes at Cannes more often translate to love for the film from the Oscars than for the actual performers themselves. So that will be interesting to watch. And it's tough with Park Chan-wook too, because you also, like, the Palme winner has to be considered in contention for all those big prizes as well, especially since it's from someone who is a known quantity like Ruben Östlund.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a wrinkle that most people weren't thinking about before the awards were given out. And now we have chances for multiple foreign films and directors and performers. And I think that's great.
Yeah. And Triangle of Sadness, if I'm not mistaken, is English language, so it wouldn't contend in the international category. But yeah, you have the when you mentioned Song Kang-ho, you mentioned also Koreeda, who could easily get in there as well. And the film was very well received. And that's someone that feels like they could be given flowers at any moment. Eric, what do you think?
It's sort of like what Dan said, the way that the distribution of the awards is not always an apples to apples comparison of the movie. It is, about trying to get a movie an award. I do think that Song Kang-ho, though, is definitely an exception to that, because it's the thing that someone like Neon needed to be able to kind of keep him going through festival season and award season. He was during Parasite, next to obviously Bong Joon-ho, he was extremely animated and fun. He really works a room very well. So I actually feel great about his chances.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm never going to dismiss now studio or even a certain amount of visibility after Drive My Car's ability to go all the way through and to do it with a completely untested studio. Park Chan-wook's decision to leave is movie. And I know some people might be like, what? No, forget it. No, I won't do that right off the bat. I think it has a plenty good chance of working its way through. But both, without getting into too much plot content for you, Ryan, both and Broker, I think, can be very appealing subjects for voters. With Decision to Leaves being very kind of classic plot, and Broker being a very contemporary and maybe interestingly timely one. So I think they both have a fantastic chance of being able to go through festival season and award season. But just like with Drive My Car, that was a very overwhelming choice by critics, and it just was buoyed by that, and the best film wins that it won. So I think also there has to be a little bit of that, has to be a lot of that added to it, actually, to make sure that it's on everyone's radar.
It's once everyone starts seeing it outside of Cannes, because like that was the thing about Drive My Car. It won the screenplay award, but everyone was talking about Tatan, you know, and then people saw Drive My Car and they're like, wait a minute, this movie really rules, and they championed it, and then it won critics prizes, and then it went all the way. So, and people love Park Chan-wook. So I mean, if this film is as great as some people have said it is, I know that we had an A review up on the website, and if it's as good and has as much passion as something like a Drive My Car, then yes, I mean, we should not limit ourselves in what studios. If the movie is good, the movie is good. That's the prime example is Drive My Car. I mean, even, yes, I know Apple was a huge place, but I mean, Apple was unproven and still had something like Coda go all the way. So, you know, you never know. And we're in a world right now where anything and anyone can get to the 10, because we have 10 now. So,
yep.
Scott Kernan asks, for those who attended film festivals, if you can name one moment that has stuck out to you in recent memory, it could be a meeting of a celebrity, watching the premiere of something, a screening of a film that stuck out the most, which would it be, and which film fest did it occur at? Well, I know Erik has been to a ton. Dan's been to a ton. I've been to a couple as well. So, Dan, does anything jump out to you in recent memory?
I mean, the one that jumps out to me most, honestly, was this past year's New York Film Festival, seeing Benedetta with an audience, with a huge audience, was just a treat and a half.
Was it like going to church?
It was similar. I've heard based on things that I've heard about going to certain churches, it was similar. But that was an absolute blast, and just a real experience seeing that in a giant theater with everyone just enjoying it so much. But the weird thing for me about film festivals is that, like, I especially remember this from like my first time going to the Toronto Film Festival. It's like even those big glitzy premieres that you see all the pictures of, like when you're just like walking by on the street or going into the theater, like it does not feel as glamorous as all these pictures make it look. Like the step and repeat is maybe a few feet wide and just wide enough for someone to stand and get their picture taken, and it just looks like everything else just feels like it does during a regular day during the festival.
Yeah,
that was one of the things that stood out for me from like my first film festival experience at TIFF.
Erik, you've been to a ton. You have memories. Can you remember?
Yes. Yeah, no, I have I have a lot of really great festival memories that involved last year's Telluride. The Lost Daughter party was next level, dancing with Maggie Gyllenhaal and Simon Rex and Jamie Dornan until 3 a.m. But I think one of the experiences that stands out more than anything else was the Cannes Film Festival gala screening of Blue is the Warmest Color.
Oh yeah.
Because we're all sitting there in our tuxedos and gowns and finery watching that very, very long and very graphic sex scene that was about 15 minutes long, and it was dead silent. It stopped. The audience was pin drop dead silent for what felt like an eternity. And then erupted in the biggest applause. It was absolutely deafening. And it was so funny because it was like applause for Lea Seydoux and Adele Exarchopoulos for what they just did. And then it was relief for the audience to be over with it. It was
they all smoked a cigarette afterwards.
It was basically fascinating. It was amazing.
My first film festival was before the pandemic, and my first premiere, I'll never forget, was Jordan Peele's Us. And to see him and Lupita, Winston Duke, and the cat and everyone just come up on stage and sit not that far away from me, and to watch that film with an audience. The opening night of Booksmart, it was Olivia Wilde's birthday, and just having that entire cast there, it was an insane experience. Right before that, I had almost I bumped into somebody, I almost knocked him over, and I felt terrible. And it was when I found out that it was Andre Holland, and he was super nice about it, and we had a conversation right beforehand, and I just seen like High Flying Bird, and I told him how much I loved it, and he was just like, "Oh, that's so nice." And he was a very nice guy, and he was like, "You want to take a picture?" I was like, "Oh no, I almost killed you. I don't feel like I deserve that." And so he just kind of gave me a hug, and when you can give hugs back then, and we moved on. And this year at South by, I mean, seeing Everything Everywhere All at Once with everyone in the Paramount Theater after the festival not existing for the last 2 years was pretty damn special. And everyone knows how special that movie was and is right now. And I interviewed Ethan Hawke for his television series that was supposed to go to CNN Plus, but doesn't exist anymore over at CNN Plus because that platform doesn't exist, but it will be on HBO Max sometime later this year. And he remembered me from 3-4 years before. And that was very, very nice. Middleburg, we got to meet, I got to meet, and then Eric got to hang out with later in the season, the nicest woman on the planet in Ann Dowd, who just sees right through you, right, Eric? It's like, oh my God.
She's very tactile. I was talking to her, and she held on to my arm.
My arm,
like an ant. Mm-hmm. And it was so funny. It was so cute.
But beyond that, I think also too, it's not just about meeting the celebrities, and it's not just about seeing the films, but it's also about getting to meet our fellow colleagues in the field and stuff. And at Middleburg, I got to meet Mark Johnson and Clayton Davis and Jazz and Nathaniel Rogers and so many friends and colleagues that we know. And then South by, I got to do the same thing. And those, I think, are the great moments, because then you get to sit with them and you get to watch movies with them. And it's like hanging with friends, and you're in this experience that no one else gets to do or is very privileged to do. And it's a great thing. And that's my favorite part about it, is connecting with everyone. And so when I go to Telluride this year and I get to see Eric, only one will return.
Yes, but we'll have to prove that you're 6 feet tall, however tall you say you are.
I am tall. I am tall.
I still think you're full of shit.
Well, when you're looking up at me, then you can.
I look
then
it
you
up
can
at
tell.
everybody.
Yeah. Well, you'll be looking up at
Yeah.
me, and I'm not going to be looking down, even though you metaphorically probably will look down at me.
That's true.
Anyway, Kinsey asked, what did y'all do this week to unwind and help decompress from a rough week? Yeah, it was a really, really rough week. Yeah, down here it was. Dan?
I know. And yeah,
Yeah.
that is,
Yeah.
I know. There's nothing that you can do to really decompress from that, I don't think.
No, there wasn't. No, I mean, I watched a lot of movies, and mostly because I have to do that and try not to think about it, but it's really hard not to think about it, especially since it's like in my backyard and,
Yeah.
and everything. And, I'm sick and fucking tired of thoughts and prayers. I can tell you that. And
I've been sick of that since
for-
Sandy
yeah.
Hook, which is the town next door to where I grew up.
when I found
It's
out,
incredibly depressing.
when people found out that Ted Cruz has like that template for sending that out when these events happen, and he puts that on Twitter, I was like, oh, what? We're surprised? Like, and then I had people ask me this week, like, what does this mean maybe for the gubernatorial race and all this different stuff? And I just said, sadly, it means nothing.
Nothing.
It's pretty sewn up, and it's sad because we're in May and that doesn't happen until November. It's just awful. It's awful. Makes you start thinking about living somewhere else. So
I was just thankful that like we had con as something else to focus on that was exciting and positive.
yeah. I mean,
we had
watching
good movies come out,
Yeah.
good TV shows, seasons of good TV shows that came out. There were plenty of things to do, but I don't think anything really could
it's still there.
take away from that.
Yeah, it's still there. Like, yes, we can, and not obviously we don't want to move on from the subject. Nobody wants to move on from the subject. It's a very serious thing that needs to be addressed in this country because, no child should have to go through a drill to, so that they can survive at school. They should go to learn. And a lot of kids are having to learn about these things, and it's terrible. And the fact that nothing's getting done is even worse. But yes, there are things to get our mind off of it because it would just leave you in a place that's pure devastating, even more. And so, yeah, there were tons of shows, and I watched the stupid Kenobi show, and I watched a couple of Tom Hanks movies for acting out, and I watched Gladiator and Black Hawk Down for session film, and watched Top Gun and all these different things. Erik, how was your week?
Extremely busy. So
Yeah.
it was, along with reeling over what had happened, I had so many things on my plate that not that it was able to distract me, but I was constantly doing something. I have a lot happening this week and next week, and in the coming month, which I can talk about later. So it was very much occupying a great deal of my time.
Kind of want to know what all that is now. I'm interested.
Yeah, well, you'll find out later.
Well, I know about one thing you're doing, so
Yeah, that sort of got spoiled, and I wasn't going to say anything, and somebody else said something.
it's
I
all
know
right.
what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. I want updates.
That was supposed to be secret.
I agree with her. Updates galore.
Yeah, I know. I guess I have to get a newspaper to provide proof of life.
You would try to get a newspaper in a dying industry like that. Congratulations. Yeah.
Saving newspapers.
Mhm. Saving newspapers one zucchini at a time. Kinsey has another question. What musician would you like to see move into film industry that is similar to the trajectory of Miss Lady Gaga? acting, music, winning Oscars, being Hans Zimmer's new collaborator.
So weird.
It is insane. By the way,
Alanaheim, I think, is probably the answer I would go to as quickly as possible, because I was thinking about this going, I can't think of a whole lot.
I know.
I can. Yeah.
Oh, Dan, God damn it.
Being facetious.
Wow.
Oh
After watching Saturday Night Live, I gotta say Lizzo. I think she'd be great in a comedy. And she's very versatile in how she performs, and I think she has a great personality and would translate great on the big screen. And who else? I mean, obviously Harry Styles is doing a bunch of that stuff right now too on the male side.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out later this year for his 2 movies.
Yeah.
I
We'll see.
honestly, in all seriousness, St. Vincent, Annie Clark.
Oh yeah.
The Nowhere In was really good, and she has presence for days. I would love to see her do more movie work.
Yeah. Same with like watching Courtney Barnett, the alternative rock star. She has a documentary that I saw at South by, and she has a presence in that documentary that I just thought was like, I was like, wow, somebody put her in an A24 horror film, you know what I mean, or something like that, like or drama, you know. So you don't have anybody else, Eric? Is it too early for you?
No, sometimes you think about that and you wish for something like, you know, like a Bjork or Courtney Love, and then it doesn't happen, and maybe it doesn't happen for a good reason, and then you just get, you know, an all-timer performance, and just be happy with that rather than have them peak and then be mediocre. So I don't know.
Sorry to all Madonna fans.
Yeah, exactly.
I was not going to
She
drink.
She peaked.
Although she really should play herself in the movie.
Clearly.
Because she looks like her 20-year-old self now. So I think that would be the greatest thing that she could do after all of our gossip and talk about who's going to play her. If she just said,
no one can do it but her.
I'm going to do it myself. It would be.
Yes, pull an Aline, the voice of love, and just play yourself at every single age.
Exactly.
It can be done.
That is the performance art that I want from Madonna.
Yeah. All right. Paul asks, what network do you feel the SAG Awards will end up on next year? AMC. I don't know.
These kind of things have so many working parts to them because
that's not going to go on any of the major 4 like Fox or CBS or ABC or NBC.
In order for that to happen, they would have to absolutely sell off the rights rather than keep the family. And the family of Warner Discovery is massive. The same way that, you know, NBC, Universal, Focus, Comcast, that's all the same family. And Disney is 20th Century, and
who owns?
It's all of those things. So it'd have to be a really big move.
Who owns like Bravo or
NBC, which is
Universal.
That would be the logistical place to go, but they had to buy it.
It would be kind of fun, but
honestly,
what I think. Go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say I could just see them doing. They put it on HBO Max last year, the day after it was on TV. Like, I could just see them dropping it on HBO Max again.
I think it's the most likely because, again, it stays in the family. But if they do want to dump it, then that would be perfect for NBC to pick up and replace the Globes.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. What are some, Matthew Anderson asks, what are some of your favorite visual effects Oscar winners of all time? Like Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Ex Machina is obviously
becomes her.
No, oh yes.
That's one of my
That
favorites.
was a
that's
genius
great.
win.
Yeah.
The Matrix.
The Matrix, very
The
much.
Matrix. Yeah.
Jurassic Park, which still holds up now
Yeah.
compared
Yeah.
to some things
For
that we
me,
see now.
for me, and I'm the only one that'll say this, but Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, what they do with Davy Jones and the
Yeah.
Kraken is incredible.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And again, still looks better than some today.
Yep.
Mhm.
No shit. Inception, obviously, Gravity,
Roger Rabbit.
Roger Rabbit, yeah.
Avatar.
No.
Shut up.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like that whole run of just Industrial Light and Magic, just like Empire Strikes
Yeah.
Back, Raiders, E.T., Return of the Jedi, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I will say the Aliens, T2, those are pretty iconic.
Yeah.
What's the worst? What's like a bad one? Like what dreams may come?
Oh,
I have a special
Yeah.
place for that movie, though.
I'm same.
Yeah. The Golden Compass is not a
That
one
Yeah, I
that-
would say that's maybe
that-
the
that polar bear sucked.
yeah.
yeah, the damn polar bears.
Put
That
that on
is-
the poster. That polar bear sucked.
That is a bad win. It's a bad win.
I actually got to admit the Ben Button win is great, and I love that if you
Oh, yeah.
rewatch that movie, oh god, that movie's devastating. I love one of Fincher's best. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of like the Jungle Book, to be honest with you. In 1917, for me too, I was like, really? That's what visual effects? Okay, sure.
I think that's a fine win.
I think that movie looks great, and it's all the practical effects. I feel like the more practical the effects are, the better they
Yeah.
hold up
Yeah.
than some computer generated bullshit.
Yeah.
And
It's-
the practical effects in 1917 and the seamless way that they have edited that movie together, which I think is smart to say that that's visual effects is just as much as it is editing.
Yeah.
Well, it's much more like a Raiders of the Lost Ark type of
Yeah.
where it is very integrated. And I think there's a reason why the Marvel movies don't win here.
Well, it's because they look like shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
I mean,
too.
They all look the same too, to be honest.
Mhm.
Yeah. pretty
And
much.
but that Ex Machina win beating Mad Max and The Force Awakens and The Martian
Yeah,
and
I
The
mean,
Revenant.
I have
That'll
thoughts about
never
that.
I love
happen
that. I
again.
especially love that. One of the reasons it's my favorite. It's because I did predict it.
Mhm. Mhm. So
I like
those are a lot of great answers we gave you there. So you're welcome, Matt. Juan Carlos asks, if you could repair one thing with the international film category, what would it be? I mean, honestly, obviously it's
One thing.
one thing.
I have one thing. One
Okay.
thing that would solve most of the problems, and that is take the power away from the countries and put it in the hands of the directors. Directors have to submit their film. Directors get the award. That gets rid of this one film per country bull crap.
Yeah,
it
and
gets
that's
rid
the
of
other thing.
The
Yeah.
director doesn't actually win the award that their film won. Bull crap.
Yeah.
Well, and that aligns with the Golden Globes. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
Basically. And I'm halfway
who?
there. I'm halfway there with you, Dan, because my answer was having the director and producer win the award the
Mhm.
same way that documentary and animated feature do.
Yeah.
That's bottom line for me, something that absolutely has to change. And the issue with the one country per has always been to avoid, France and Italy from having
Yeah.
multiple nominations, because when you look at the history, they have the most nominations and the most wins.
Mhm.
And I think we might be in a different place now that we could do that. But 20 years ago, absolutely not.
Yeah.
We would have had 3 French movies every single year.
Hell yeah.
France has actually had a really hard time until
Of late.
recently,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because the foreign language or the international feature committee is different. Their rules are different, and things are changing. They're still very Eurocentric, but they are changing. And I think we would be at the right time for that to happen.
I mean, maybe if France picked Celine Sciamma's films, they wouldn't have such a terrible time in recent memory.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I think Portia would have got in, and I think Petite Maman would have had a better time than Titan to get in.
But I don't think either of those would have won.
On the
No,
flip
well,
side,
winners are a different
side,
story.
then
Yeah.
you would have a category that has 3-4 neon films.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That would absolutely happen.
Yeah.
The one thing that
I love it.
I do toy with a lot is bringing back the old, like, if you're going to vote in this category, you have to see every one of the
They should.
nominees, or what I wish they would bring that back, because that led to some really interesting, unpredictable winners for a good long while there.
Well, you can track it also through like the Academy screener platform and put it up there, and you could tell if they've watched or not. Of course, you could, and you don't put a fast forward option in there, and you have to make them sit down and watch. Like, Clockwork Orange style is what Dan's saying. Just basically like open the eyelids and just put in the international features. So
Why not?
There are a few things about the Oscars that I wish they would go back to. But if you're going to have individual feature categories like documentary, international, and animated, then just make the nominees and the winner voting only be the branches.
Yeah.
Because that's going to reflect those categories better than the overall body being able to vote. Because now, that's a pure populist vote every single time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine asks, what do we think about the animated feature category for this year? I mean, it is a crap shoot. I mean, this is coming off the heels, obviously, this weekend of Bob's Burgers, the movie, which somebody here wrote the review for, I believe.
I'm sure I don't know who you're talking about.
It was you, Dan.
I did, and it is an absolute delight of a movie. I have to say, I was very, very caught off guard by how much fun it was and how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I hope, for many reasons, that, even if you don't know the show at all, that you go and check it out in the movie theaters, because it deserves your time and your money.
Or don't, because, some team and it's a bomb pick for a team in a movie.
Look, okay, take any personal politics out of this, Ryan.
No. In all seriousness, I do hope everyone sees it, because it's like one of those movies that's like, I don't know how this got made, but we need it kind of to succeed. Otherwise, like, beloved shows like this are never going to get this chance again, But like, I don't know. Now, we did hear the thing about that. Someone told me that Turning Red did get a small qualifying run in New York, so it does, in LA, so it does count. It's not going to be over at the Emmys, so that does help its favor. But then there's like Lightyear. Am I missing anything? Any big ones that am I missing, Eric?
The Bad Guys was a big hit.
Yeah, and that was just dropped as a screener, which is officially really the first screener of the season.
So weird.
In May.
So weird.
In May, for Christ's sake.
I think that might be for like the groups that some groups do, like mid-season.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Awards and stuff like that. But
then
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, then send me those Everything Everywhere All at Once screeners. Come on, A24. Let's go.
We've got the. I don't know.
Watch it again at home.
There's, I think, Luck, the Apple.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Well, Netflix always has at least something, but I mean, they might not, because they
refuse to release in theaters.
Well, that and all. Yeah, there's that, and also too, like they're shortening their staff over there in the animated department right now. So that seems to be the first one out the doors.
Yeah, but then all they have to do is pick up an existing one and distribute it.
Yeah, and they have to just put it in theaters for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
that's an Oscar rule that needs to change. They need to, if you're going to be an Oscar movie, you need to have a full run, not just in New York and LA. I don't want to say.
That's how it's always been, though. Why would that be any different than what we've been doing now?
because I think that's stupid. Because that's the only way that you're going to be able to see those movies is you're in those two places. For some people,
it's just for the qualifying run.
I know, but I mean, some people would like to see Turning Red on the big screen, not just for its qualifying run. And not everybody is invested like you and I in this award season, Eric. So they don't know that they're going to be like, oh, I thought that was a streaming only or whatever. So anyway, category
Dear
animated
listeners, mommy and daddy are fighting again. I feel very torn.
No, that's fair, because I think something that we probably don't mention enough doing what we do is that not everybody has, all of the different streaming or access to the different streamers, and certainly not to screeners. So when we talk about all of these movies that people don't have a chance to see yet or haven't seen, or maybe won't because they don't have Apple TV, it's sort of, we have to make sure that we're looking at things from a position of general viewing, not just ours.
Exactly. And that's basically Eric's way of saying I was correct. Anyway,
I didn't want to say it, but it was a roundabout way.
It was a roundabout way of saying it. Yeah. Last question, Matt St. Clair. What has to happen for AMPUS to fully get rid of their silly bias towards horror films? I don't know. Probably like have membership cease. I don't know.
I honestly don't know, because you see it happen every once in a while.
Yeah, like a Get Out happens and they're like, okay,
and The Sixth Sense and Get Out, but then they're such one-time things.
But it's not just horror. It's like like fantasy or sci-fi or
Action.
It's genre.
Yeah, it's genre films.
Yeah.
Period.
Comedy.
And comedy gets it just as bad, but we don't talk about that as often as we do the bias against horror, which is weird to me, but whatever.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. And these are movies that are crowd pleasing that people go to.
Yeah.
It's another way to get viewership. It's like, oh, I saw that horror film, or oh, that comedy is great.
I think it's no different than seeing an international film push its way through it and make it in. It kind of just has to be one. It has to defy the genre. If it's a horror, it can't be a gore horror.
Yeah,
it has to be.
It's got to be a thriller.
It has to be a hit.
Yeah.
I mean, Get Out. If Get Out had made $15-25 million, it would not have gotten there.
It has to be a phenomenon, right?
It does. It has to break through all of the things that a traditional drama does not have to do.
No.
And that goes for comedy, that goes for horror, that goes for international features. It doesn't matter.
Shit. I'd like it for it to go to documentary, because can we acknowledge that those movies are movies that could be nominated for Best Picture once in a while?
Yeah.
That's another thing.
I
think if something like a Michael Moore film, not released now because I think
back then, like
different than it was then, but you know what I mean, that if there was 10 and the voting was like,
it would have happened.
And Fahrenheit, 9/11.
Well, if he would have submitted the film,
he did.
Too. Oh, did he? Okay. I thought there was one he didn't.
They wanted it to get in Best Picture, but that was
not good. No, it was not good.
Field of Five, and
Well, those are our listener questions. Thank you guys so much for submitting those. And now it is time for our review of Top Gun Maverick, the biggest movie of the weekend, $150 million over this Memorial Day weekend. Top Gun Maverick, of course, stars everyone's favorite Scientologist, Tom Cruise, and Jennifer Connelly, and Miles Teller, and John Hamm, and Glenn Powell. Oh my God, it stars Glenn Powell.
I haven't even seen this, but there is so much sun-kissed skin. My Lord.
You don't even know. See it in the IMAX, Eric. It's glorious.
See it in IMAX.
I have been trying. So
I
have not seen this, so I'm either just going to listen or I'm going to leave the room.
Yeah. Leave the room. We don't see you. Anyway, movie, of course, has followed after more than 30 years of service as one of the Navy's top aviators. Pete Mitchell is where he belongs, pushing the envelope as a courageous test pilot and dodging the advancements in the rank that would ground him from the skies. Dan Baer This is the big movie. Everyone's been talking about it for weeks. That our critics, you were the only one other than myself that saw it of the group. Erik just couldn't get it because it was a very hot ticket this weekend. It was a very hot ticket. I mean, shoot, people are talking about stupid Best Picture stuff for it and all this other stuff. Like,
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I'm just going to say this right now. I had a lovely conversation on a Twitter space for the Hollywood Critics Association. And I got to tell you right now, I give this a 2% chance at best for a Best Picture nomination. There were a lot of things that would have to happen that be eliminated. And also, too, there's a lot of films, including the ones that just won prizes at Cannes, that are probably in a better spot. And shoot, Elvis probably has even a better shot, than it, because of that kind of style that they go for. But Dan, this movie is a big hit. Dads Abound have been dying for a sequel, 36 years in the making. So I got to ask you what you thought of Top Gun Maverick.
I honestly, it felt like this was the ultimate decades later sequel. This is how you should do it, which is basically take what worked about the original, make it even better, and take what didn't work and make it good. Everything about this is like A+ level Hollywood blockbuster filmmaking.
Whoa.
It's not breaking any boundaries or really breaking out of the mold that much, but it gets in there and does what it has to do near flawlessly. And it is a pure machine for thrills and entertainment.
Yeah.
And even if you can see the gears turning, sometimes it doesn't matter, because it's just a fucking blast.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you the level to which this is better than the original is frankly astonishing.
Yeah, I saw the original recently.
Yeah, me too.
And that movie, no disrespect to the late great Tony Scott.
Yeah,
and that film, but it's also too, they didn't have the technology, I think, really to capture everything inside those aircrafts the way we are now, because it looks like an editing nightmare to put that thing together. And it was, because I could not even tell at times watching that movie where the hell they are in the sky. And
could not tell you what was happening during any of those aerial battles.
First of all, we gotta say one thing about Top Gun Maverick is this has been the week of Tom Cruise, because we also got the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 trailer, which
got applause in my Top Gun Maverick screening. People are excited for that movie too.
They played Eat Your Heart Out, James Cameron. They played that trailer at the IMAX screening for the press.
Yeah.
And holy shit balls. That movie is just give it to me now. I'm a big Mission Impossible fan.
Same.
So it's Dan, you have no idea. I'm like Rebecca Ferguson with an eye patch. Fuck yes, let's do it.
I am so ready. I'm so ready.
Oh my God. I was like, and then I know some people got hung up on the Part 1. And I'm like, fuck y'all. It's Mission Impossible. They're all parts. They're all parts.
It just bothers me when they say we're getting Part 1 of a movie.
I get it,
also too late. Just call it something different. Just call a Part 2 something different. There's no need to break it up into Part 1, Part 2. There's just not.
I mean, unless there's so much movie that can't be contained.
It's 2 movies, so title it like it's 2 movies, or be a baller and release a 3-hour long Mission Impossible movie.
I think it would be
go see it.
I think it would be a 4-hour Mission Impossible.
4 hours, 5 hours. I don't care. I would go see it.
I would.
Paramount knows that Mission Impossible
Who are you?
Are Cruise's highest grossing movies. So splitting that up is absolutely the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I know it is.
Nobody's gonna gripe.
I'm not. You don't hear me griping. I haven't even seen the damn films. I'm like, give me 2 fucking make it 3 parts for all I give a shit. I love those movies. unabashedly, because of, like, I grew up watching Bond films, and then these were kind of like for our era. These are that franchise that we are spy sort of action thrillers that came of that time. And
again, this is a case where you can see the value of practical visual effects.
My God,
because every one of those movies looks fucking stunning
when he jumped
off. And it's because Tom Cruise is willing to do whatever the fuck he has to get the damn shot.
Yeah, I mean, he literally like broke his leg on the last one, and they kept that shot in the film, and he kept running off screen. And
insane.
My God, like, the man is an insane. He is going to die in a movie. Probably Elon Musk will kill him in that space movie. But I just, his commitment is. I mean, he won a special Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival after the premiere there of Top Gun Maverick, and he will get an honorary Oscar very, very soon, I believe.
One day, absolutely.
Yeah, he will totally get one. Yeah, for
I
his.
don't think so.
Oh, well, no one asked you. Go back to mute. Anyway, we're talking about Top Gun. We're talking about Top Gun Maverick, and I gotta say this: the movie started just perfect, just kind of picking you right up off the nostalgia, getting that music in there, starting with Danger Zone. Just like
the deployment of the original score in this movie is just chef's kiss perfect. It is so perfectly cheesy and just used the exact right times. I loved it. I applauded, did the little seal clap whenever it came up.
So good.
So good.
And I think this movie, we have a review up on the website out of Cannes. I agree with a lot of it, in that I think that this movie is such an entertaining thrill ride. It is just insane, some of the things that they are getting away with. Cruise talking about behind the scenes that he did all this training, and then he had to train all the actors. It really feels like for all these years he has built up, there's been a lot of hope and promise that what they will or they won't, or this and this and that or whatever. And for me, it was really fascinating for him to finally get back and do this film. I mean, this movie has been long delayed, so they've had this in the can for a long, long time. And the fact that they've been holding out on this sexy Glen Powell footage has been just, how dare the studios. But in all honesty, it was so much fun. I got to take my dad to the screening, and he was like freaking the fuck out by the end of it. And we saw it in IMAX, perfect for the sound. Claudia Miranda, my God, cinematography for this movie is incredible.
This is the best thing that he's done since Benjamin Button.
Oh yeah,
easily.
And it was just such an immersive experience. Yes, the story, like you said, Dan, we know where all this story beats going. It's nothing really new. It's a Top Gun film. If you've seen the original, it leans on the nostalgia while also trying to do its own thing. And it's not trying to reinvent the wheel. Story-wise, what it's trying to do with the visuals is take it to the next level. And that's really where the love and the craft for this film goes into it. I know that some people have, it's kind of like with the Jennifer Connelly storyline, they've kind of like, you can take it or leave it. I gotta say this. I did not know that I forgot about it, and I went back and saw the clips that her character is mentioned in the original. It's such a throwaway line in that movie, and it's such a throwaway introduction in this. So, but you're just like, okay, it's Jennifer Connelly in a movie. What am I going to say? No. So, and she's great.
She has no business being as good as she is in this movie. That character is so thinly written and just like cliche love interest, supportive, girlfriendy character. And she just turns her into a full, honest to God, flesh and blood woman. It is great. And she looks stunning.
Yeah.
In every shot, every frame that she's in, she has not looked this gorgeous on film in a while, I think.
No, and she's just game, just to go like
Yeah.
with him the entire time. No, it was
Mhm.
fantastic. I really loved this film. It's Oscar chances, all that stuff.
Whatever.
You know, whatever. Who cares? You know, it's just nice to know that like when you go to a Tom Cruise movie, even like the bad ones, you are in the hands of somebody that truly wants to give you a cinematic experience,
Yep.
give you something that is going to try to do something you've never seen before. And I mean, from the get-go, from the first flight where he is trying to get to Mach 9 or Mach 10, I'm
So good.
sitting there going, holy shit, he is doing this. He is a madman. And it, you know, I know a lot of people, when they think about Tom Cruise, they think about Ethan Hunt. That is probably his most iconic, one of his most iconic characters. He has a ton of iconic characters, but they think about Maverick. And really, as I was watching this film, I'm like, I know he's trying to slip back into being Maverick and everything, but I just thought, because we have so much history now, 30 years, almost close to 40 years in between this film, it's like, okay, well, he's basically now just Tom Cruise playing this. Yeah. And that's totally fine. I thought not just his relationship with Jennifer Connelly was pretty good. They had great chemistry, I thought.
Yeah.
But
great chemistry.
The chemistry between him and Miles Teller is fantastic in this movie.
And Miles Teller looking much more like Anthony Edwards' son than I ever thought when he was cast.
Also, as much as Glenn Powell's looking like a snack and a half, Miles Teller looked really good in the film. Like
everybody in this film,
that's
great.
Yeah,
everybody,
even Tom Cruise was like,
even.
Yeah, but you could, but they let him
laugh when like everyone gets their like their
shirtless
title card at the end, and he gets the shirtless glory shot. He's the only one. I'm like, of course. Yeah. But then again, this is the first time in I don't even know how long when he has allowed one of his co-stars to look like they're taller than him. So the man is doing it.
He got to be a short king in this movie. That's for sure.
Embrace your short king.
Exactly. Like
come on.
Yeah. He's not a giant. But also too, I think one of them, like, I wouldn't have expected, because I didn't in the first film, I would not have expected to get emotional, but knowing with the documentary that came out, I believe last year and everything, to see Val Kilmer in the film, those beats, they work so well. I won't go into too much about them, but they were it was really, really touching, and
it was great. And it didn't feel like it didn't feel like nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. It didn't feel shameless in any way. And I think that was the thing that really got me about this movie. It didn't just like call back to the original for fan service. It was really doing its own thing and deepening the plot and characters from that first movie.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I will probably rail against these kind of movies that present the main conflict as one of an older white man who is constantly being told that, his time has passed and it's time to move on and let the next generation take over, only for him to end up being the only one who could possibly save the day, and is led back to, okay, maybe it's not over. Like, I will rail against this kind of plot till my dying day, but just because there's something about that feels very easy and false ultimately. But I can't deny that this just does everything else so well that barely registers.
It's a fun movie. I highly recommend it. Everyone go out there and check it out. Obviously everyone is checking it out, and except Erik. Erik's not checking it out. No, he will. I know you'll see this movie, Erik.
I want to. I really do. And maybe I'll try and get to it today, but I'm
I know you're we're not putting a gun to your head when you see this
Yeah,
movie.
but I want to see it because I missed my press screening.
But that means you have to go to see it with the normies.
So this is what happens when you miss press screenings, Eric.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Just hold your hand and it'll be all right. All right. It's now time for our game. We're going to play a round of Awards Watch or Not Tom Cruise edition, where we put two films up against each other and we see which one we like more. And the other film, sadly, gets destroyed forever.
At least we're not doing the filmography game because it would just be me and Dan again. And I don't have the wherewithal to do that again. That was enormously stressful.
That went on for way too long.
We'll do that next week.
Do someone with a shorter filmography.
Yeah. Jacob Tremblay. No.
Wow.
He's the same height as Tom Cruise. What? He's grown up.
Savage.
He has the potential to grow up. Only Tom Cruise.
Oh my God.
All right. Awards Watch or Not.
Here we go.
Tom
In the middle of
Cruise.
Short King Spring. How dare you?
Awards Watch or Not Tom Cruise edition. Mission Impossible, the first one, or Top Gun? The first one.
Oh, Mission Impossible, easily.
Easily Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I'm going with the first Mission Impossible.
That's a blueprint action film.
Yeah. Rain Man or The Color of Money?
Oh,
The Color of Money.
Why, Eric?
oh.
I dislike both of them, but
I knew you would. That's why I did it.
that's bad.
Mm-hmm. Dan?
Yeah, it pains me because I actually think Cruise is really good in Rain Man, but Color of Money.
Yeah, I like, Color of Money. He's really good in Rain, and I agree with Dan. He's really good in Rain Man. He's better than Dustin Hoffman, in my opinion.
Well,
Yeah. Eyes Wide Shut or Magnolia?
Oh,
Yeah. Eric's flicking me off.
no, wait, just to remember, is this like film or Cruise in the film?
Both.
Better film or him in the film?
Both.
Or all of it?
All the above.
You're right.
you know what? If we have to get the other one ceases to exist,
Yeah, that's how the game works, but
then
you don't
I
have to
need
use
Eyes Wide Shut to exist in the world for just him and Nicole.
Yeah, Magnolia is a better performance, but Eyes Wide Shut is a movie that needs to exist.
Yeah.
I'll go with Magnolia because I love that movie. Frogs and all. Speaking of Tony Scott movies with Tom Cruise,
Are we?
Days of Thunder. Oh wow! Oh, I doubled this up. Well, you're going to pick again between this Days of Thunder or Top Gun. Sorry, I did this really late at
How
night.
about Days of Thunder or Top Gun Maverick?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Nope,
I'm out.
can't do that. I already have that for another one.
Okay.
Days of Thunder or Far and Away. There you go.
I was just gonna say that's the two you should do.
Yeah.
Those are the
There you go.
Yeah, those are the two you should do.
There you go.
Wow.
I haven't seen Days of Thunder
It's good.
and Far and Away. I don't know that that's a very good movie.
It's something that they filmed. That's for sure.
It
I'll
certainly
go-
exists.
I'll go with Days of Thunder.
Yeah. Days of Thunder is the correct answer.
Yeah.
Minority Report or War of the Worlds. It's Spielberg collaborations.
Oh, Minority Report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
I know
both-
Kevin Lee would say War of the Worlds.
Well, he's not here, is he?
He's not here, so he can suck it.
I'm good Lord, both of you. But yes, it is Minority Report.
Easily.
Born on the 4th of July or Interview with a Vampire.
Vampire.
Oh, Born on the 4th of July.
Vampire.
Vampire is not a good movie.
Oh,
I love Interview with a Vampire.
I love parts of it.
I'm going with Interview with a Vampire, but it's close. Not a fan of
I'm
it.
not a big fan of Born on the 4th of July.
Yet you picked it. So there you go.
No, I didn't.
Didn't you? Oh, wait, you picked.
I just said
Interview with
vampire
a-
like
Sorry.
immediately.
You are what you pick. Anyway. Lions for Lambs or Valkyrie.
Valkyrie for that ass.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, I remember seeing Lions for Lambs in the theater on
Me
opening
too.
weekend, and that is not good.
No.
But Valkyrie has that ass, so yeah.
Valkyrie. But yeah, Lions for Lambs. What a misfire.
Oof.
I mean, you have those three actors, Pena, Young, Andrew Garfield, all that, and you make that boring movie. God damn. Tropic Thunder or Cocktail.
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, Tropic.
I love Cocktail is not a good movie, but he is so good in it.
Yeah, it's a lot of just that's
But
a
Tropic
nostalgia.
Thunder is a freaking classic.
Exactly. Tropic Thunder's great. It's a good movie. It's now somebody's going to try to cancel us for saying it's a good movie or whatever. That usually happens like once a month.
If that happens, then they clearly didn't get that movie.
Eric, you might not be able to answer this one because it does relate to Top Gun Maverick. So we'll get your answer next week. But Top Gun Maverick or Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol?
Oh, fuck me. Ghost Protocol.
Yeah.
The
Ghost
Burj Khalifa
Khalifa
sequence
scene.
is still
Yeah.
unbeatable.
Though, I mean, give me some time. Maybe a year or two. Some of those aerial sequences are just so breathtaking.
Yeah.
They took my breath away. Yeah.
hate
I
you.
didn't. I didn't. Yeah. I'm not proud of it. Or maybe I am. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation or Mission Impossible Fallout? Those are the Macquarie films.
Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout.
Fallout, but man, Rogue Nation's great. Rogue Nation
Rogue
has
Nation is good.
All of the Mission Impossible movies are good. Even
even 2, which is the
yeah.
worst.
Mhm.
Yeah. I love
Hollywood
just
really messed up John Woo. I'm really upset about that.
yeah. But man, Rogue Nation has him hanging off the carrier and that opera sequence and the underwater sequence and the
Yeah.
motorcycle chase.
But
and-
Fallout has that
but
chase,
yeah, and also
which
has
is just insane.
Henry Cavill too, which is
Loading the guns.
loading his arm. What an insane! I love that he talked in a recent interview with Tom Cruise, and he said like off, like out of shot, you can see, like you can't see his face, but he went like, the hell, like can't believe that they got that shot for the film, and they were like, put it in, and they got it in. It's a great shot.
Yeah, like punch me in the face, please.
Oh, please.
Twice. Good Lord.
Last one. Edge of Tomorrow or Collateral?
Ooh, that's hard. Collateral is so good.
I'm going with Collateral. I love his white hair.
I do love that. And
Love him playing a villain.
good.
He's good as a villain.
But
Edge of Tomorrow.
I gotta go with Edge of Tomorrow just for Emily Blunt.
That's the reason why I didn't go with it.
Eric.
Sorry,
Miss Oppenheimer.
He does not. Eric is not a Full Metal bitch stan.
Sorry to be blunt.
God damn.
But
yeah, you say I'm bad with jokes. Good Lord.
I only said that because
Lord.
Yeah.
I love Collateral just as a movie, but he's like not like really the star of either. So I'm looking at it from his performance and just the overall movie. I think Blunt is really the star.
Okay. She's all right. I don't know what to pick. These are two really good movies. I love Michael Mann. I think Mann's made other better films and I would go with Edge of Tomorrow. Like that movie is so rewatchable, so much fun. Did not expect to have as much fun with that film as I did. And yeah, him and Blunt, their chemistry is fantastic. Please, for the love of God, do not make a sequel to that movie. Just let it be what it is. I know that they're trying to do that. And it's like, no, don't do it. This isn't like Toy Story. I don't have faith in you that you're going to make a competent sequel.
I mean, they did it for Top Gun Maverick. Just saying.
Yeah, that's fair. But that would be Doug Liman as opposed to like Kaczynski and McQuarrie. So, but wait, did McQuarrie write the script for Edge of Tomorrow? I think he had involvement.
I think he is like one of the 3.
He's like one of the
writers.
700 writers on that movie, but it still works because that movie's awesome. So, all right, that's Awards Watch or Not. That's the game. Yeah, it was real quick, and that's the episode. So, Erik, tell everyone where they can find you on the internet, and tell them something to watch right now other than Top Gun Maverick that you recommend.
Oh my gosh. You can find me at awardswatch.com and on Twitter at awards_watch. What am I watching right now? I was watching some screeners, so keep an eye out for the final episodes of Hacks, which are really good. The staircase keeps getting weirder and weirder. Owl Theory is like, I'm obsessed and it's insane. And I just started Stranger Things and it was long and scary. But it takes place in March of 85, and that is they are exactly my age at that exact time. So I'm just watching and picking everything out, and I'm like, oh, that's my friend group. Oh, that's my song. And love the resurgence of Kate Bush and people discovering her.
Yes.
Yeah. 85 and 85 for Erik. That's what it was in 1985. So Dan Bayer, where can we find you on the internet, and what's a recommendation for yourself to give?
You can find me on Twitter at Dance and Dan on Film. And we've already talked about Bob's Burgers, so I won't say go see Bob's Burgers, but you should go see Bob's Burgers. Absolutely. You know what? It's coming soon. And I'm going to say this because it is not, I don't think, the movie that it is being marketed as. When it releases on Hulu, watch Fire Island.
Yeah.
But don't watch it like with a group of friends in a theater. Watch it with like a group of friends on your couch with wine.
I can't believe I didn't say that, considering
it's more that
Fire Island content on the site right now.
Yeah, we have 2 interviews that Erik did. We have the review by Nick Rokraut that's up on the site as well. Yeah,
I'm with Dan though. I've seen it 3 times. I'm obsessed with it.
I watched it too.
I love it so much.
It was very good, very good. Thought it was a really sweet film. Really sweet film.
Yeah, so. Much more an Andrew On film than a Joel Kim Booster Bowen Yang film, if that makes any sense.
Well, Andrew On brought the drama out of people that are traditionally comedians in a way that a dramatic director had to do it. If a comedic director did it, it might have missed the nuance of it.
Yeah, it's very nuanced. It's much more low key than I was expecting, but it's delightful.
It's also super hot and super sexy.
Yes. Yes.
Lots of things in it.
Yeah. That movie is extremely hot. Top Gun Maverick's cast extremely. It's like, man, summer of sexy cast. Let them out.
Hot boy summer.
Hot boy summer.
Hot boy summer. With a side of Jennifer Connelly, who's very, very hot in that film. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Ryan McQuade 77. You can find me here at Awards Watch and Session Film Speak, a little bit at the playlist, a bunch of other places. A recommendation I would give out to everyone. Well, obviously keep watching Barry, because Barry's been fantastic, and supposedly tonight's episode, the 6th episode is insane, based off of Eric telling me that for
Can't
weeks.
wait.
I recently watched a film for it's been out for a long time, but I tweeted about it last night. I said I finally watched Road to Perdition, and I'd never seen it. And
Never?
never seen it. Nope. And you know what? I know I shit talk Sam Mendes a lot. That movie, fantastic. His best movie he's ever made, like straight up. And I just Tom Hanks and Jude Law and Paul Newman, young Daniel Craig,
Yeah.
Stanley Tucci, a touch of the Tooch, you know. So Jennifer Jason Leigh, it's just a great cast. Just a great cast and a fun movie. And yes, watch Fire Island. That's coming out next week, I believe, on Hulu. Hulu.
Yeah,
And just there's a ton going on. I'm sure y'all are all watching Stranger Things and Staircase and Hacks, and there's other television shows. Better Call Saul, I heard, has been fantastic and everything.
fan-freaking-tastic. I can't wait until the next batch of episodes come out in July. Oh my God.
I started watching the Gilded Age and Yellow Jackets, and so I got all that to look forward to, and then try to maybe watch when it's all said and done, the Under the Banner of Heaven, which I hear is fantastic as well too, that show. So we'll be back next week. So thank you all for listening, and we will see you all next time.